fourth episode about renovating this rotten and abandoned house. Is it good title? It used to be rotten and abandoned, but now it's not anymore, so we'll forget that. I'm inside and we're redoing everything, but honestly, it's totally rotten. I was completely confident when I arrived. I had already done my intro. I was telling myself we're going to do the ventilation system, we're going to do the concrete fence, we're going to start the terrace, blah, 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 blah. I was totally confident, but no. We had to take out the concrete cutter to cut through the garage beam and make holes. I turned over the whole yard, even though I said I wouldn't. Well, yes, and you're going to discover some things, really incredible things. So if you're watching this video for the first time and you're wondering what he's talking to us, but we have no background, I created a playlist. You have the link in the description. With the 3 episodes already, we're on the 4th one, so there are 3 episodes already in the playlist in addition to this one. But since you're watching this one, you only have the first 3 left to watch. You'll have the full history. It's an 80s house with a wooden frame. Everything was rotten, especially in the bathroom, so I tore everything out from floor to ceiling. We're redoing everything, but in the end, that's not all. A lot of things, so I'll let you discover all of that. You'll see we're really having a blast.
All right, let me give you a quick update on what has been done.
This whole part of the concrete fence is cleared. I'm cutting it as neatly as possible so I can reuse the panels.
I'll explain to you, I still have this whole part left to do, but here there are pipes in my way.
I'm cutting on the other side because the ground is lower, so I can go as low as possible with the concrete cutter.
Break the foundations and remove as much as you can, since leaving concrete and mowing over it isn't ideal.
It gets stuck in the blades, same with the rebar. Someone could get hurt, so I try to break as much as possible. The slabs, yeah, so I reused them. I'll film inside for you. Well, inside. I'm not going to do it now, but you'll understand with the beams, I'm going to make supports under the beams. So the slabs are in large format. I'm going to cut them to make roughly 30, 30, 40, 40 and reuse them. And same for the posts, we could reuse them to make supports. So I still have remove 3 slabs and about 3.5 posts. But the post, I cut it in half, it comes off easily, and then I tackle the other part. With the TE800, it breaks everything in its path. So my little posts are right here. I'm going to cut them again into 30, 30 or 30 centimeters, 30 centimeters each time.
To make supports again.
I'll place them under the beams, add a brace for support, and do the same with the large panels.
I said we'll cut them 30, 30, 40, 40, and I'll reuse them.
The foundations for this type of post are really tough, so we need to remove as much as possible. Because if you run the mower over that, the blade will get damaged, and it's the same for the metal parts. It's bad for the blade, and someone could trip and get hurt, so you need to dig them out as much as possible and remove all the foundations. You can see the ground here is lower than there. That's why I'm breaking things here and cutting over there. The TE800 is extremely powerful and destroys everything in its way. Of course, the link is in the description and my awesome Jackery battery. Let me show you, it's hidden. It's the Jackery Explorer 3000. We can put a little shutter back on for the demo. At least it's waterproof in the rain. So this battery is 3600 watts, 7200 watts peak, and it's easily portable. With these two big handles, I got the optional cart. There are plenty of options. The Jackery link is in the description. There's a little promo. I'll tell you about it right after. The solar panels, the covers. To protect the battery, lots of accessories, but the solar panels. Honestly, it's great because you could camp in this garden, for example. You have your battery, you connect the solar panels coupled to the battery. I'm completely self-sufficient and bring everything back each night since I never leave tools at the site. It recharges in an hour and a half. In an hour and a half, it's fully charged. I always have pretty much the same setup, meaning a tool plugged into the battery, my phone, and the batteries for the camera. And I have... So with the sun, are we going to see anything? 89% battery, I'm using 16 watts. And I have 99 hours of battery life, so that's great, that's really great. We have a 12-volt port, 2 USB-C ports, and 2 USB-A ports. I can disconnect the USB ports. I can disconnect all my outlets if needed, since I can of course use all 3 outlets, but honestly that's great. It's even better, guys, because I can use this battery as a seat or a lounge chair. Look, I'm on it, I can rest my head on it. This part serves as a backrest. It's perfect. I can fall asleep in the sun and enjoy life thanks to my Jackery battery, and anywhere because you're self-sufficient. We can't relax and fall asleep in the sun because we have work to do on a job site, especially with solar panels. If you do van life or camping, it's ideal. You can plug in your coffee maker, your microwave oven, anything at all. The other day, I plugged a printer into the car trunk, worked perfectly. The little promo code for 5% off is displayed right here, valid on the entire Jackery website. The link is in the description. You have access to all the batteries, you have access to the solar panels, to the accessories. Now's the time to treat yourself. And if you have a little cabin at the end of your garden, a shed, a small workshop, and you don't have electricity, well, this is going to save you. You pair it with solar panels, so the battery paired with the solar panels. You put that at the end of your garden or in your cabin, and you're good to go. You have electricity to work in your workshop, but for now, I'll plug in the T800 and break through the concrete fence. First, I'll make a small cut in the pipe. I hope I'm going to make something nice. I'm not a landscaper, just planning to clear the area. The pipes don't look great, so we'll see. Maybe I'll check before cutting it, because it doesn't look like it's in great shape. The ivy is taking over, so before I cut it, I'll check to avoid messing up and having people say I ruined the pipes. Anyway, but yeah, that fence there, I'm going to break it. I'll figure it out. So either I break it over here, or ideally I break it on the other side. First, I need to cut the pipe, but I'll check before doing it. I don't want to mess things up, so I don't know what you think, but to me, it's not in great shape. The old guy. Here's a trench all the way through, but at least we're making discoveries. This settling tank, since it's a settling tank, I haven't found the pit yet. And in the end, there's no point in looking for it. None of this is useful anymore. But normally, a septic tank, a settling tank, it's supposed to be filled back in with sand and gravel. Here it wasn't. Is that what was worrying me? It wasn't a leak anymore, it was rainwater seeping in there. It smelled like a swamp, it didn't smell like sewage. I emptied the settling tank, but it'll still be useful to me. You can't put just anything in the rubble in front of the house. For me, it will be concrete, bricks, sand, and gravel. I'm going to fill everything back in. So here, my little trench all along. I'll show you what we discovered. It's really interesting because over there we have a little surprise. A quick recap. Here, we have our water supply in high-density polyethylene, the toilet drain, the sink drain, and the water heater drain. It goes here. Now, the water heater drain, I don't see it though. It must go underneath. Under the blood red polyvinyl chloride. We dug and found this inspection chamber. Then this one, the settling tank that should lead to a septic tank that's located, I don't really know where. No matter, I'll continue, I'm following. So, is this made of cast iron or concrete? So, why didn't they use polyvinyl chloride? Does that mean this one's original? Anyway, let's keep going. We get here, this is the kitchen drain. Let's keep going. Now this time, it's polyvinyl chloride.
This was done recently. We have proof, you'll see.
So we also come across a PEHD. Why is it here? We don't know. I don't know. Does it come from over there? Is it to connect something? To replace the garden faucet from the 80s? I have no idea at all. So we keep going. And then we come across a little discovery. Careful. An Intermarché shopping bag, please. Ligature. So we take it off. Well, I had already taken it off to show my buddies on Instagram. I'll do it again for you. Oh, the surprise, what could it be? There you go. All this because Mr. was too lazy to go get a cork and stick it on. So he thought, wait, don't I have a little shopping bag lying around in my car? An Intermarché shopping bag? And these are recent bags. You can tell they're not from the 80s, so the little Intermarché bag. He took one of his shoelaces and tied it on there for us. Well, the good news in all this is that it goes under the garage. I'm going to make a hatch in the garage so I can run the water heater drain and the sink drain into the garage and go under the beams. Rather than going outside, because there's going to be a terrace there. I don't want to make a hatch in the terrace. It would look ugly. And I'm going to make a kind of drain riser in the closet where Linky was behind the bathroom. And if one day we need to use a drain snake, we can use it in that closet. And in the garage, quite simply. I'm starting to understand a lot of things. That's the drain from the old toilet. That matches up. It's right across, okay? Then they're going to run a polyvinyl chloride pipe for the main sewer.
And that's the same material. This kind of elbow is the same material as that one, and it's the same material
As that pipe. So the toilet drains into there, and for that they're going to use a polyvinyl chloride pipe for the new drains, the new standards, okay? For the main sewer, except that he connects to this inspection chamber, goes in, and they're linked by polyvinyl chloride pipes. That's it. So before we had copper drains, I showed you in episode 2, I think, the copper drains from the bidet. The sink also had to drain into there in copper for sure. They redid everything in polyvinyl chloride, and then they kept this material, which is either cast iron or concrete, to drain into there, which would mean that if I dig, I follow this. We have our settling tank. Here we have a hole. We saw it in episode 3. My septic tank must be in that area or over there. Since this inspection chamber is original, which is why there are 2 kitchen drains. Subtitling, we have 2 drains, one here and one there. So one is original and the other was added later for the main sewer. So after that, what happens? I don't know. And I want to tell you that I don't care because now I know my main sewer is over there. So the idea is going to be to remove. I'm still going to remove them. We're not going to leave them there. It's absolutely useless. But with the main sewer, it's sure that it goes out to the street, which seems logical to me. Well, it's a lot of work. More than I expected, but I absolutely don't regret digging, going as far as I could with the evacs. We're going to have to take everything out. But judging by the look over there, it was really blocked. So it formed a funnel, everything got stuck in there. It's a disaster. So I could put the best drainage system in the house. If it's blocked outside, if it's rotten, it's useless. The plan is to clear everything, inspect with a camera, and install new drains. Meanwhile, let's visit Frank. I visited the Renault Trucks workshop in Massy. See, it was awesome. In the previous video, we went to see Kevin. He answered all our questions. I had a lot of questions to ask him, and he answered them. If you have questions about Renault Trucks or their utility vehicles like Traffic or Master, you'll find Renault Trucks Massy's contact details in the description.
We're seeing Frank visiting the Renault Trucks workshop, then returning here.
Next, we take out the pipes and proceed with the inspection camera. So Frank, a little surprise for me. What is it?
Since we're going into a workshop, you'll need to wear this.
I don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. Let me see.
Show me how beautiful it is. Look at that.
See, beautiful shells of...
Safety shells are required since you already have safety shoes. Personal protective equipment is mandatory in the workshop.
Exactly. We're in the utility workshop, which has 4 bays. We have 4 technicians who work here 8 hours a day. And
In the morning, what time do we open?
what time? For example, we open at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. And in the evening until...
Until in the evening, until 4 p.m. for the utility, but 6 p.m. for the reception. If you arrive after 4 p.m., you can pick up your truck. He'll just have to take the vehicle keys. It's not a problem. And the repairs are done.
The height is impressive. You can fit a semi in.
I don't know.
You notice the height, but it's impressive.
I have no problem with the size here. I have absolutely no problem with the size.
What is that, for example?
That's a vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum cleaner, yes. Okay, to make holes in the ground and...
To suck up soil. It's a vacuum cleaner, basically an excavator. Okay.
And so his is broken. Where we maintain?
That one? He must have a problem because that's my sales development representative doing it. Diagnostic repair specialist, the highest technical level in my workshop, okay? And they only do diagnostics. We
Have trucks with...
That's a BOM crane. We're rebuilding the engine, changing the exhaust, and replacing the brake discs. Yes, it's not like on cars. Here, the hub stays in place. Yes, you see? With your bearing, yes. Then actually, you just come and mount the disc on it. You see, you have the flange, you have the disc that goes there, and you put the disc on top. You secure it with the screws. Yes, and that's it. All right, quote unquote, that's it, quote unquote, that's it. And then, for people who don't know, look at the size of the pads compared to...
That's a pad.
Now, I'll show you the brake bench.
And it's only used for something else?
Imagine. So, this is a bay here that we use to do some small undercarriage inspections, okay? Undercarriage inspections. We put the vehicle on the brake test bench to check the braking force. For each axle, okay, so you bring the vehicle in, it weighs the axle by axle, and then you check the braking force and the imbalance. See?
It's unique. Technical inspection.
Exactly. Actually, we use this to prepare the vehicles before the technical inspection, all right? So it allows us to see if there's a sticking caliper, if there's any problem, if the brakes are not properly adjusted and so on. Then we move the vehicle up to here, we place it on these plates. So you see, you put the 2 front wheels of the truck. Yes, and actually, the plates here are mounted on jacks. And that allows you to check the play in your front axle, okay? And your rear axle. And then you adjust your headlights. After that, the vehicle goes out and it's ready to go for inspection. Yes.
Exactly like a technical inspection. So you also maintain vehicles.
Electric ones, yes, they need maintenance and repairs like combustion engines. I have a technician for that. All right.
That's what I saw earlier in the...
Hall, yes, we have the highest certification to work on electric vehicles. Exactly, and you...
Do you often get electric vehicles?
Yes, I get them regularly. We have a fleet that's pretty big. This one, in addition, belongs to our rental service, Lodart. Okay, when I need a part that's not in stock, I can get it. If I order before 5 p.m., I get it next day.
Okay. For example, on the vehicles I see, if you're missing a part, you can get it very quickly. Yes. Okay. And who takes care of that?
Stefan. And Stefan, where does he go? Stefan is on the other side. That's the store. Okay, well, let's go see. Let's go. Well, this
type of saw, guys, is great, but don't do like I did. Whenever I visit Plume Plastic, I buy one.
Do I lose them?
someone steals them, I forget them or I just buy another each time. They follow me, retrieve it, then sell it back to me when I return.
It's a conspiracy.
In short, no.
Super convenient because you can cut directly into the ground. There's no arch, so you cut your pipe directly.
It's 45 centimeters long, the blade is super thick, it's made especially for polyvinyl chloride and ABS. The brand is Morse, I don't know it, but I'll look for an equivalent. Links in the description. Use the small screw to replace a worn blade and keep the handle. And here we go. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Every time I go to their place, I tell myself, but I forgot again. The saw, it's crazy, so I'm losing my mind. We did the right thing by getting rid of everything. Look at that, it was really clogged. Hope you're not eating breakfast while watching this video. I'm sorry, excuse me, but yeah. It was really clogged.
So it's not so bad.
I cut the pipe in half on purpose to show you where it was clogged, and contrary to what you might think, the elbow is perfect, so ideally you should use 245-degree elbows instead of 190-degree elbow.
Well, all this length, so it's dirty inside, of course, but it's not clogged.
And here, this one is clean, but this one isn't. Look at the passage. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Apparently that's a good sign. There you go. There's not much left. Ah, there. It's all blocked. I think it's coming from him. Subtitling, it's from that look. It must have been getting clogged in there. Maybe it was getting stuck in there in the 40 polyvinyl chloride, and then it creates a blockage. Luckily, we're redoing everything and taking it all out. Sorry if you're eating lunch while watching this on a Sunday morning. It's not very appetizing. So there's no more drainage in the house or outside. That was the toilet drain. That polyvinyl chloride there, that's the little crap that was there. That's asbestos, so I checked. It's asbestos, so the little piece and the elbow, that's what was there. The 40 polyvinyl chloride drained into this, and this section ran to the inspection chamber, but it's completely blocked. Look at that. So I could have installed the best drainage system in the world inside the house. The weather was bad outside, so it's best to redo everything. At least we'll be starting with a perfect foundation, really perfect. Look at that, how nice it is. I cleaned it. I'm going to cut it again to make a garage hatch, but for now I'll just install an elbow. Put a pipe there so when it rains and dirt flows in, I won't have to move everything. But what I'm going to do is take the opportunity to dig around it. For the water supply, it's a garden faucet, but it looks all rotten in there. There are shut-off valves below the drain valves. I'll break and redo everything.
We have fun however we can. I was bored, I didn't know what to do, so I said to myself, I'll make a hole.
And there you go, but I'm happy with myself.
Honestly, it was worth the trouble to clear all that out. All the drains were clogged anyway.
So I'll start over. And the water supply, I absolutely had to know where it was coming from. Because honestly, tapping in over there to come back here to supply the water heater isn't great. Now that I know the high density polyethylene that matches this one, I'll keep it. We'll keep the high density polyethylene there, but only as a garden tap. One here, one over there, that's good. One or two in front if needed, but that thing was all messed up. And besides, there was a leak. I'll show you when I remove the bottom part. So I'm going to get rid of this piece of galvanized pipe. We'll connect to the high density polyethylene and we'll go into the garage to supply the manifolds, water heater and more. I'm happy. Honestly, it's a great find. So here, I'll film it for you. We have this high density polyethylene at the base. There was one here, there's one there. And it must have been cut. For what reason? I have no idea. Yeah. What are you saying? Otherwise, it's not funny, but that thing on the side should have caught my attention.
And I didn't worry about it any more than that. I thought, yeah, they boxed something in, or maybe it was the foundations, whatever.
That should have caught my attention. It's a lid. There was dirt in front. I assumed they put something there. Anyway, so they poured the garage foundations on top of that. What's that? I have no idea. It goes in that direction. And we have the high density polyethylene that connects this one to that one, which goes in there. So the water supply comes in with a valve in the inspection chamber at the same time as the rainwater at that spot. That makes sense to me.
All right, we'll break on the side, we'll see clearly.
The contents of the box, a mystery of roots and soil. And the tube is well sealed. So this is the gutter downspout.
This is the
descent.
Self-fit and finally done.
Some people dig for gold. I dig and find polyvinyl chloride. I'm subscribed to polyvinyl chloride. We're not worried. It's not a big deal.
That's just a sheath that protects the old fuel installation that used to come out over there. So we're going to cut on the sides.
As for positioning, I think I'm not doing too badly.
We'll need to dig with the small trowel, remove all the soil until we find the 200 polyvinyl chloride.
So it goes like this. And then we'll make it bigger. So to cut the small battery-powered concrete cutter, the battery-powered water tank to prevent dust, it puts water on the ground and slurry. It's always better than breathing in dust. And of course, the TE60 on battery, we drill, we chisel, it's perfect. It was 1012 cm of vibrated concrete. It cuts by itself, it breaks by itself, just right here. I didn't push too hard because I don't want to wear out my blade. I think there's some heavy rebar running through here, so let's get to it.
Anyway, we need to make it bigger, so we'll go slowly, but I don't want to wear out my blade on a piece of rebar. So let's go.
But yeah, otherwise, it just cuts and breaks on its own. The promo code MKE25 is valid all September on the ILTIM website. Use it before the month ends.
Starting from 600 euros a purchase.
You go in, you have the link in the description, you click on it, you enter MKE25 and you get 25% off the concrete cutter, the water tank, the TE60, the cordless tool of your choice.
It could be a core drill, drill grinder, or screwdriver. C, whatever you want. A chisel hammer. If you want a chisel hammer, 25% off, the link is in the description.
You know what you have to do to get 25% off? You enter MKE25. It's going in the right direction, so it's working well that way. So as I was saying, now we just have to make it bigger.
Think of absolutely everything here. Don't forget, because I don't want to do this again.
But yeah, I'm happy.
We're going to clear all this out. I'll get rid of this first. It'll make more space, and then we'll have to have some fun going in there. So it's not necessarily going to be very easy.
I'm planning on 60-60, but I could do 70-70. However, making it bigger will make it heavier to lift.
Well, after that, I want to make a concrete lid. Am I really required to make a concrete lid?
Can't we just use an aluminum plate?
If a car ever hits this garage, aluminum won't hold up. We'll use a plate and steel sheet instead.
We'll see, we'll think about it, but it would be good if it was easily accessible. Well, easily, it will be accessible. But so that we can really put both arms in there if needed.
I didn't make this hole randomly. Since the pipe runs this way, I could have placed it more to either side.
Here I position myself in front of this hole that's already made. If I have to skip this part, I skip this part.
But the idea is to widen more in this direction than in that direction. Over there, I have access. I can core drill through the cinder blocks, dig, and continue.
The lower I go, the more slope I'll have, and the better it is.
So we're going to tap into the pipe, starting as low as possible.
So that's going to be more dirt to clear out, but I'll clear it from the inside. We're going to dig, dig, dig. Exactly.
You really need a strong stomach, I'm telling you. What could be better for digging that way than a Hilti TE60 with its powerful 5 cm drill bit? Look at the size of this baby.
So you saw I was set up there. I drilled in that direction to soften all of this.
Now the soil is sand, so it's easier to remove. What do I find? Well, on a polyvinyl chloride pipe, another one. Yeah, it never ends.
So it slopes that way toward the garden. And it matches
The rainwater drainage, so that's what we discovered earlier.
And behind, I have my wastewater drainage, because when I put my hand there, I thought I'm already touching the polyvinyl chloride. That's not possible.
No, it's just rainwater. So I cleared it well above. So here we are under the foundations. I cleared above. I'm getting a piece of pipe.
This one is 100 millimeters in diameter. The one we're going to use will be 90, so we'll even gain some height.
There we go, it's all the way in, and I can even lift it. So we're good with the slope, we'll leave it like that, and we'll go check on the other side.
But I'm still lucky, since this pipe is 100 diameter C. There we go.
It goes above the rainwater pipes. If the rainwater pipes were at the same level as the wastewater pipes, I was stuck. So I'm still pretty lucky. We're going to cheat. We're going to tilt it as much as possible. And then we'll put in a Y, a 45-degree elbow to connect to the wastewater, simply so it can flow. There we go, and let it flow that way. So we're going to inspect this pipe. We're going to see what's inside. Next, we'll add a second Y, use a piece of A45 pipe and install a vent. That way, if one day we need to work on this drain, we just remove the vent. We can run a drain cleaner through there, an inspection camera, and so on. And once that's cut, I'm really gonna cut it flush with the ground and go through it. The Geberit silent pipe. Also, it's white, which makes it even better for inspections.
We'll insert the 90 mm diameter into the 100 mm polyvinyl chloride, since the 90 mm fits inside the 100 Minetsu.
Why am I doing this? Because I have a little idea for outside. Regarding rainwater, we'll see about that later, but I definitely want to go with a push-fit system. Because it's the same with that. You need to be able to take everything apart and remove it easily one day. And that's the advantage of this type of pipe, since it comes apart very easily. You can clean everything. So as I told you, we're going to take it out. A Y, 45-degree elbow pipe and vent. I'll do the same thing.
Maybe in the kitchen and in the closet, that's for sure. In the closet where Linky was, I'm going to do exactly the same thing.
Since we have the bathroom behind, and in the kitchen like that, if one day we need to do any work, we have plugs, access panels everywhere. But yeah, I'm lucky, honestly.
If it had been at the same level, oh man, that would have been hell. Let me tell you, it would have been a nightmare.
We had to go back around the outside. We didn't have a choice. So, of course, I have the option to go back around the outside. The trenches are already dug. I could easily say, oh, all right, I'll go back around the outside. I'm at ease. My 28 square meter bamboo terrace will be installed over the drains. I don't want to cut an ugly hatch into a bamboo terrace, just in case we need to do work someday. I prefer to go through the inside. I made a big hatch. We have access. We could enlarge at the foundation level, reinforce the foundations, bring in a truck to vacuum out the soil.
It's dust that's sucking all of that up.
We dig a tunnel about 60 centimeters deep, crawl through it on all fours, and reach our drains.
We could do that, but it comes at a cost.
Using a truck costs money, but clearing everything by hand does too. Both require a lot of work.
So I prefer to go through the inside, and I have two solutions to set up my drainage. I showed them to you. This is Grandpa Jeberi's living room. It isn't glued, it just fits together. For the outside, that's what you need since it's glued PDC pipe out there. If it breaks, it's finished. This can expand and move back or forward since it's fitted together. So I go under my beams, or I attach them to the beams. The beams will be reinforced with joists. By the way, in the previous video, I told you I was going to reinforce the beams. And the ends of the joists that will rest on the cinder blocks, I need to find some kind of rubber pads. What is that? Am I going to bother with that? But since I have some linoleum, right? I'm going to cut strips of linoleum that will be glued onto the cinder blocks. Linoleum is very waterproof, so I can put my joist on it. And if there's any rising damp, we're good. And outside, I had planned to tar everything anyway. So either I start again from the beams and go back down, perforated rod, clamp for my drains, or I lay 50x50 or 60x60 concrete slabs on the ground, perforated rod, sew on the soil, perforated rod, clamp, drain. My drain is separate from the floor, so if the floor moves, the drain stays put.
Now, I planned in the kitchen to bring up ye 45-degree elbow exactly like I'm going to do here.
You can either put a vent or a cap so you can work on it later if needed. Same thing in the closet where Inky was. That will be the bathroom wall ye. 45-degree elbow. I'm running a piece of pipe up. We can put a vent or a cap and we can work on it. Same for the toilet. The vent will go up into the attic so I could work from there. You really need to consider the drains. If one day it's clogged, where can I get through a cleaner, a drain snake, an inspection camera?
You need plenty of access points, similar to placing valves throughout a water supply for isolation and shut-off. Well, you have to think about drainage. Right now, I'm in the middle of the work. I've cleared everything out.
So I absolutely have to make sure that if one day I need to work anywhere, whether it's me, the homeowner, or if they call another professional, they can know, and you can even label it the thing you write on in case of intervention, that you can use a drain snake.
The guy, he knows. He doesn't have to wonder, wait, is it glued? Because maybe he doesn't know this type of pipe. He might think, yeah, maybe it's glued. I have to cut it.
No, you just have to remove it. It fits together, so you just have to take it apart. You can use the drain snake, the inspection camera, and it's perfect.
You need to consider everything, as I mentioned. You can create an access point here, vacuum the dirt, and crawl through. But yeah, it's very expensive. So basically, what I do is I use the height of the shovel as a reference point.
We're fine here since it's 28 centimeters.
So I need between 25 and 30.
So all we have to do is hop dig. Here, it's sand. It's pure joy to dig this.
It makes a bit of dust.
But with this, we can. Ah, he's charming. There, they made a car dock. Subtitling, how does it look?
Perfect. I don't know.
It's not complicated to do. We're good here, we're good here.
So you saw what I did. It's not complicated.
It's just digging under the beams to start from the highest point, which is the toilet, to the lowest point, the drain.
The hatch I made in the garage.
Ideally, we should be able to dig on the side of the house. There won't be the terrace.
And make an access into this crawl space, either through the hatch or the side of the house.
Go under the foundations and make an access. Then remove the amount of soil, because you have to remove the height of the pipe.
And ideally, you should have about 52 feet to be able to access easily.
Doing it by hand is impossible. We must remove the planks or we won't make it.
Or make a big hole in the middle and say we'll fill it in later.
But it's going to be complicated. We'll have to remove the planks or bring in a truck to vacuum all this up. But it could be vacuumed because the soil here is sand. It's been dry for years. It's a lot of work if you do it by hand. You don't realize it at first. You think digging 52 feet is easy.
Yes, over the entire length, that's a lot of earth.
I'm already happy to have made my little trench, my groove. We'll be able to start with our drainage pipes.
I'm going to have at least 3 centimeters of slope per meter, so that's not bad. And I think I can even go for 4 or 5 centimeters.
The more slope there is, the better. So no warning mesh, no conduit, nothing. Back then, the guys pretty much did whatever they wanted. So here we are under the garage slab with my high-density polyethylene, and I'm really happy. We're going to have to unclog this one.
And his little buddy, who's right here,
And for him, we're going to run an inspection camera through as well to see how far it goes.
But my little hole is pretty good though.
Now we have no connection or resources left. The water supply should have been moved up from the beginning. Check out my length, isn't that awesome? I reran the pipe to tap into this, but I have a problem with the fitting since I broke it by stepping on it last time. So it's leaking a bit, that's why I put in a valve. I had that in the truck, so I rigged this up. And at least I can offer water, but you see it's leaking. I stepped on it and it broke. No matter how tight I make it, I need a new one. It's not a big deal, but at least I have my water supply here. That should have been done from the start. If there was no garage, we would have run the water supply along the wall. They made their garden faucet, they did whatever they wanted against this wall, and then after that they went back into the house. Now it'll be perfect. I can put my water heater and system against the wall. It's ideal. It'll be doubled now. With plasterboard. I'll put a film underneath to prevent moisture from rising. But there will be an extra layer. And then there you go, right in front of the water heater. But honestly, I'm really happy. It's great. It was a bit of work I had to dig, but I'm really happy. So this one, well, we're going to cut it off. We're going to shut it down. We don't need it anymore. We could reuse this to run a cable through if needed, but I can also go through the inside. It doesn't matter to me. My water supply starts here. I'll add a sleeve for protection along this section. Ideally, it should have been fully protected with a warning mesh added. Then we'll remove the garden hose, a watering hose, and here I'm going to install a faucet for the garden since we have water just behind. I could add another one there by routing it inside. I'll put one in front of the house. On this side, on the front, and then one by the garage in front. The more garden faucets there are, the better. Same for electrical outlets. Keep that in mind. Have as many electrical outlets outside as possible. Also, the tea and everything else is rotten. I don't know if you can see, but there are holes everywhere. It must have been leaking into the ground. The water bill must have been steep. Subtitles ST501. You need to consider the garden faucet. It's not just after you've finished your drywall, plaster and paint that you'll realize it. Hey, maybe we should have put a garden faucet there, like people do now. Too late.
Water is complicated. You have to bring it in, dig a groove, run the pipe and add a fitting. You know what I mean?
Installing an outlet isn't that simple. You also need to consider outdoor electrical outlets now. So you can always run it through a wall cavity via the attic, drop a cable down and catch up. If I can do it now, I won't hold back. It's easier. Consider adding as many electrical outlets as possible. Same for the terrace. I'll put as many as possible all around. I'm even bringing in a 1.5 line for the lighting. This way, if the owner ever wants terrace lighting, the line will already be there. It won't connect to the panel, just mark it. Outdoor lighting, you stick that on the cable. Same for the attic, you'll just have to bring it down later into its GTL and connect it directly to the panel. But electrical outlets, lighting, garden faucet, you have to think about it. Okay, I went to get a pressure washer since the goal is to unclog the rainwater drains. They're full of dirt and roots. So yesterday I checked at the inspection chamber you saw in front. It's not a big chamber, but it's really clogged. Now I'll use the small pressure washer with the proper nozzles, since the two companies I called aren't available for 10-15 days. They prioritize wastewater emergencies to help people, so they told me it would take at least 10-15 days. I'm a bit in a hurry, so I rented a pressure washer. We'll run it through there, and we'll also give the wastewater a go. It can't hurt. And we'll try to unclog everything. It'll be the same since the rainwater flows down toward the east garden. Is there a well somewhere? I have absolutely no idea.
So once it's unclogged, we'll run the little inspection camera through
In both the rainwater and wastewater pipes. So we're going to have some fun doing that. What else did we have to do? What else could we unclog? We might as well take advantage of it since he's here. I'll try to see if there's anything else. There are inspection chambers scattered all over the yard out front, so we can try to put some pressure in there, since I have it, and his is 180 bars, I think. That's going to be powerful. So I went to get a pressure washer with small nozzles. I'll show you. I rented everything from Kiloo, because that costs at least $4,000.
And the nozzles are right here. So we have a nozzle with a straight jet and a nozzle with a lighter straight jet that goes to the back.
For everything.
unclog, 180 bars. It's thermal. I hope it goes well and that we can unclog everything.
But yeah, 180 bars, that's going to be powerful. Und yeah, guys, what can I say? When that's not enough, the pressure washer, because it's really clogged. Well, you have to dig. We dig, and what do we find?
Well, a plastic bag. Yep, another one.
So what are we going to discover? Some brick? Some brick, and under the brick, oh, it looks, oh wow, it's sealed. All right?
All right?
We're going to have to dig further in this area. Oh man, I'm so fed up.
So many discoveries.
My Karcher pressure washer stops here and won't go any further. Why? Well, we have the answer under this brick and this plastic bag.
It leads to absolutely nothing, really nothing at all.
Aside from bricks stacked on top of each other, that's it. It's a homemade sump made with bricks. Well, at least I cleared out this polyvinyl chloride pipe that was really clogged. I mean, really properly clogged. So with the pressure washer, I managed to unclog quite a few, but then I got stuck on the bricks. That means this house.
I can't put a gutter downspout on this side or the other side, since the other side, it ends there.
Well, here it's leaking because my Gardena connector is a bit broken, so it's spraying up there and coming out here. What was I going to say?
So I can't put up a gutter. But anyway, we'll manage, we'll find a solution. We'll find a solution.
All right, now that we have a better view of the pipes, we're going to inspect the wastewater pipe, because that's the one I'm most interested in. We'll inspect it and run the camera through. It's the SANEPACE model with the reference shown here. I don't know it by heart. The link is in the description. You'll see there's a little promo code that works well. For everything I show you, there are promo codes.
That's what's great.
So we're gonna run it through the pipe. The camera will see how far it goes and it'll show us the number of meters covered. We'll know the exact length, so how far?
I'm not sure since we're going to the neighbors and he'll be on his throne doing what he needs to do.
And I'm going to inspect something we shouldn't see. You know what I mean, right? That would be a shame. He's going to show up on YouTube. Well, actually, his butt is going to show up on YouTube. We should usually go straight and end up on the street. I more or less know how many meters there are before we reach the street. It should be about 15 meters. So as soon as we pass the 15 meters, it means we're on the street. So if everything is clear for 15 meters, that's a good sign. It means we're safe, but normally it doesn't give me any trouble.
This pipe was mainly for rainwater, but now I have to tell you that we'll need to find another solution for the rainwater.
So this little camera, I'll give you a quick overview and you'll see that it's just awesome. So here's what the camera looks like.
And right here, we have some small accessories that can be attached to it, of course.
I keep them like this because it's convenient with the spring. This is great, but we have lots of accessories. I'll film them for you to see. So here I have 100 meters from Sanipace, so I'll show you the logo. It's right there. Sanipace has several camera models. As I mentioned, this one has a 100-meter range. I have something like a small laptop on it. We're going to turn it on right away. Here, I have a secure digital card, a mini secure digital card. Okay, I can take notes, I can record the screen. You see there, the camera is right there. I'm filming myself, I'm right here. So this camera, as I told you, we can take notes, export videos. We can really do everything with it. We can adjust the screen. I'm gonna position myself like this. I'll be in the hall with my camera and I'll have feedback from the screen, which is pretty convenient. We have small rollers here, so feel free to use WD-40 since they're obviously full of gravel inside. There could be dirt, there could be anything you can imagine. So obviously it gets all around and it can get stuck at certain times.
Feel free to use WD-40 on the rollers.
But when you pull on it, you see you pull on it, you pull on it, you pull on it, it unrolls very easily. And when you roll it up, thanks to the rollers, it will always roll up. Properly, it won't get tangled, you see what I mean? So you really need to take care of these little rollers and maintain them. So it's easily portable. You see, it's quite light. It's not very heavy. Actually, it's the principle of the electrician's needle, but we simply have a camera and a screen feedback. So the idea, as I told you, is that I'm going to go into the trunk. So I'm going to put the camera on a tripod. The camera will film the screen and we're going to inspect this pipe and see what's inside. So the camera is right here. We have LEDs, of course, to see inside the pipe. You should know that we can adjust the intensity of the LEDs. We can even turn them off completely. This camera works both on battery and plugged in. I recharge them and only use them on battery. The battery lasts long. The screen is a screen. 10 inches, we have a really good resolution on the screen. So the little LEDs, we'll put this through the tube and it'll be like broad daylight. All right, we're off to inspect the pipeline. Here, you'll get the indication. So, of course, we put on the gloves. I don't need to spell it out for you, but it's the indication of the number of meters covered. Here you see a glove that I'm pulling. There we go. We're at 1 meter, 1 meter 12. So we pass the camera through into the pipe. You can see that it's pretty clean for now. And the idea now is to go as far as possible. I must have 15 or 16 meters to the gate, so 15 or 16 meters to the gate. And normally after that, we should reach the city network. So we're off.
Here we have a connection, you see.
We've gone 3 meters, we have a connection. So that's about the length of one pipe. You can see that for now, it's very clean inside the pipe. Another connection at 6 meters, so these are 3 meter lengths. Another connection, so here we have a length of 4 meters, if it's for 10 meters. It's perfect, very clean inside in my opinion.
Another connection.
So now normally I pass the gate at 16 meters, I pass the gate, so we should be arriving there. There's something small on the ground, it doesn't look bad. Here we are, there you go, hop, another connection, we push and we arrive in the city network. There you go. So here, I'm in the city network. From now on, I'm no longer interested. If there's a traffic jam, it's not my concern. And so now to rewind, it's not complicated. You just have to go in that direction. So don't hesitate, as I told you, to put some WD-40 on the rollers. Because here we're definitely going to bring up some sand. So what you can do is take a cloth and as you rewind, you wipe. Of course, you keep your gloves on. I don't need to spell it out for you. So there you go, we wipe. To get as little sand as possible on the pebbles. And now that it's done, of course, we can export the file to the secure digital card and add any annotations we want. I was only inspecting the pipe, not exporting anything, though we could use the secure digital card if needed. Okay.
You add what you need, return it to your client, save it elsewhere, or do whatever you want.
We can turn it off, put the screen back upright, fold it down, that's it. We can put it back in the utility vehicle. You have to see it as an electrician's needle with a camera.
This is a wastewater pipe. I have nothing else to run through it.
Suppose it's a conduit with cables already inside. Inspect it since it's full of dirt and was clogged. You unclogged it but need to run something through again. A cable inside you can run your camera through, attach the cable you need to pass or the wire you need to pass. In the duct, you attach it to the camera, you run it through the duct and you retrieve it. On the other side, you make a cut on the tape with a utility knife and then you only pull the camera.
And you've run your cable, your wire, at the same time as the inspection.
It's convenient. We still have 100 meters left, which isn't bad. And so earlier, I was telling you about the accessories. So we have this support with all the wheels to be able to pass it through a pipe. It's convenient, but I prefer to go directly with the spring because honestly, it goes through on its own. But this is very, very convenient. If you have a pipe that's full of dirt or I don't know what, and you don't want to put the head directly into the pipe,
because otherwise you won't see anything. If there's dirt, obviously, it's going to push the dirt, not to mention anything else. You see what I mean?
Then, of course, we have to put the little caps back on the camera.
The manual, a packet with gaskets so you can replace them to make sure the camera is completely waterproof. Another mount, some small screwdrivers, some little extensions, but it's complete. Honestly, it's really complete. As I mentioned, the link is in the description. I'll also share a quick promotion. The promo code MEC100 gives you $100 off instantly on the SaniPay website. That's how you pronounce it, SaniPay. Use any camera you like, including this one. They have plenty of inspection camera models. This one is 100 meters. It can be 50 meters, 20 meters. You'll check it out. The link's in the description. But if you're doing earthworks for stormwater or wastewater, this is the kind of equipment you need. It's essential. And even for bathroom or toilet pipes.
If you're only working indoors, invest in this. I used it the other day for a partition wall with drywall. I had a rod that wouldn't go through a drywall partition.
Because I discovered, thanks to the camera, I made a hole with a hole saw on the YouTube rail. Fortunately, it was an apartment, so I didn't have to open everything. My rod still got stuck and wouldn't go through. I brought the camera back, I made a hole with a hole saw, I located the rail. I went down and I found a nice plaster mold that must have been covering an old switch. But on the other side, the plaster was so well done you couldn't tell there was a switch.
So to reach the outlet, it was stuck, so I understood why it was stuck. I went about it differently.
I managed to reach the outlet by going down next to it and at an angle.
It was a nightmare. I spent nearly 4 hours just to reach one outlet.
Anyway, in the end, I would have been better off just making holes on the side with a hole saw, reaching the thing and patching it up. But it saved me from having to go back to the site, do plastering, painting and so on. That really saved my life.
At the time, there was a nice flat mold in there. I cursed the guy who did that right away, but I managed and I got it done.
Invest in the inspection camera, it pays off for me. I had talked with them for a while, but hadn't committed yet.
No, I believed in the model. A colleague with 2 inspection cameras told me, Mr. Pei, it works well.
For me, I was more thinking about investing in a thermal camera, and in the end, the thermal camera. I have one, and I don't really use it that much. In fact, I even have 2, and I don't really use them that much. But in the end, this is essential. Essential. Clogged pipes, conduits eaten away by soil and plants. If you try to run a cable through there, it won't work. Once you put your camera in, you'll see why. But for anything that's a pipe, whether it's for rainwater or wastewater, that's what you need. So if you need to invest in equipment, a machine, invest in this. The link is in the description. There's a little $100 discount. And we're off to inspect all the pipes. So it feels like a war zone on this site because they're everywhere.
There are holes, piles of dirt, drainage pipes. It's a mess, but it's just holes to fill back in with dirt and clean up.
As for the rest, it's spotless, really clean, since all the drains go back into the garage. So now we have access at the garage level and the water supply comes up into the garage. And luckily, because the garden faucet was leaking everywhere at the galvanized pipe and the fitting, that T-joint thing, so it must have leaked the whole time. It must have been something back then. I'm happy because I'm talking to you about the water supply. It's thanks to it I discovered all this.
I was interested in the drains to ensure they weren't going into the septic tank.
The water supply, which is in the corner over there, outside. I wanted to bring it back inside the house so I could then redistribute it inside.
I search inside and can't find it. If I'd looked outside, I would have found it.
Whatever happens with the drains, she led me straight to all the blockages, so it's not so bad.
So we cleared everything out. We're starting over.
The garage, I told you about it. Now we'll have a hatch. There will be access through the closet and the vents in the attic. We'll have the closet behind the bathroom and the kitchen. There's also the garage hatch, so we can clear everything out.
The water supply enters directly into the garage. We can redistribute everything.
If you're buying property, there are key things you must check, especially now that you know. Wastewater and rainwater. For rainwater, we'll find a solution, but for wastewater, we can't do whatever we want.
We can't just dump that in the garden. This isn't the Middle Ages. You must check the wastewater and rainwater systems to ensure they're not clogged and drain properly.
The framework, if not damaged by pests, along with the roofing and tiles.
Cracks on the facades. Outside, check if there's a stream or a pond that could cause the house to shift.
Large cracks may mean the house has shifted, possibly from a spring below or similar issues. Be sure to inspect everything carefully.
They discussed property inspections, water, lead paint, outdated electrical systems, and insulation, blah, blah, blah.
So in the end, do we inspect the pipes?
Yeah, even the water there. Imagine if it's all galvanized pipes that are rotten all the way through. It's leaking in there and nobody cares.
You have some water pressure, but only worry when the high water bill arrives.
You drink tap water, but you're getting poisoned because the way that thing looks, you're drinking the water.
You'll always find a tourist at the garden tap.
Then the drain's clogged. So you really need a thorough inspection, both for the water inlets and for the stormwater and wastewater drains.
But well, we could start the discussion.
Why don't we do it? I don't know, but I'm glad I got rid of everything because now, yes, it's a lot of work. It makes me lose time.
But I'm starting over with something spotless because the owner could have moved in. I could have told him.
I'm only focusing on the interior work. I'm installing my terrace. The rest, I don't care. I'm not worried about it.
I'm connecting to the existing toilet drains. From the water supply, he moves in, flushes the toilet 3 times, and it's clogged.
He'll call and say, I don't understand. You did some work and now it's clogged. That's not my problem.
I'm not running an inspection camera now that everything's open just to confirm a perfect connection. He'd be absolutely right.
We'd need to dismantle the terrace. We're not doing that.
So check everything if you're buying a property, inspect everything thoroughly, okay? So we'll meet again in 15 days for the next part of the work in particular.
We'll start on the terrace. The outside will change. You'll see, we'll make it perfect.
There won't be any more piles of dirt, no more holes, nothing left, no more polyvinyl chloride pipes on the property. It's going to look really nice with bamboo.
So, in the meantime, we'll meet again in 2 weeks for the next part of the work with the terrace.
One key thing in construction is to visualize yourself in every task. This will make everything clearer. You'll have new ideas. It's important to visualize yourself doing the work, okay? So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment on this video.
As I told you, we'll see each other again in 15 days. In the meantime, take care and see you very soon. Sus?